What are we making today?
We are making tofu scramble.
Cool, family favorite. We love it. Easy to pack for the girls' lunches.
Yep, as long as we make it up in bulk. The girls, 9 and 10, they can put together some meals by themselves. Super convenient to pack for different things. It'll last in the fridge for probably about 3 to 4 days.
And what I like about it is then you can just add it to literally anything, any other stir fry, roll up, burrito. So we end up making a ton, and we're going to use 3 packs today. We can do, if you're in a hurry, you can do the frozen onions. Otherwise, we've got a whole onion. And I prefer to chop it up with a knife. Katie likes to throw it in there and save time because she's smart.
If you're short on time, grab some chopped onions from your store. Otherwise, go ahead and use a fresh onion. You can change however many of these you are using because of how much we eat and how quickly we eat it. I like to typically do 3. If you're a smaller family, maybe start with 2. So here we go. First thing I do is get my onion ready. So I'd say probably about a ½ cup of chopped onion. Otherwise, I take 1 onion and I chop it and I use half of that.
Cool. Getting started on that onion.
All right, so I just chop it in half and I peel off as close to the outer layer of that skin as I can. And these are sweet onions, so they don't hit the eyes quite as hard. Now what I'll do is I'll chop the whole onion and then I'll just take half of it and put into the tofu scramble and take the other half and freeze it so it's ready to go for the next time.
We'll show you how easy it is to use this food processor. This is a big one, but they actually sell these real small for pretty cheap. So you can actually pick one of these up for like 10, 15 bucks.
And then depending on how finely chopped you like onions in your food, you can leave it as is or you can send it through another round. And I'm gonna stop it there because that's about where we like it. All right, we'll go on over to the pan. From here, I like to use about a tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil. And I just put that down in the bottom. And I'm gonna start sauteing this onion in there.
What are you making?
This is just potato.
What is it?
It's sassy tea.
Squishy tea? Oh, that sounds yummy.
But it has a sassy for the tea.
I see that. Good job.
Here you go, Daddy.
Oh,
You can't eat this like.
thanks. All right, we're gonna go back to Mom now.
Ricky.
Yep, I see that. It's Mom's turn now.
Okay, so while we've got that going over here, I just have it turned on about a 3. I'm gonna get my tofu ready, so I have a knife just to puncture this. And this is the extra firm organic tofu from Aldi. It's been about the best price, and it's about the same quality that you can get at other places. And this works for this really well. So I just chop that a little bit. I squeeze out the excess water, and I set it to the side. All right, so after I leave this on here, I use that to press and squeeze. I go ahead and open these up. Okay, so once I take it out, I just break it in half and give it an extra squeeze and get as much of that water out I can. And from here, I go straight to my pan and I just crumble it in. And I repeat that for each pack of tofu. Okay, so once all of that tofu is crumbled in here, I'll go ahead and pick my heat up to about a 9 or almost a high. And I will go ahead and add in my Bragg's amino acids. These are soy-based amino acids. Delicious. There's 16 amino acids in it. You can pick this up at Walmart. And I use about ½ a tablespoon per pack of tofu. So there's 3 packs of tofu in here, so I have 1½ tablespoons. and you can adjust that for taste. And then I use this trusty little spatula, big spatula, and just go ahead and kind of finish breaking up this tofu.
We start the video and then you start going crazy. So what's the deal? And you, are you supposed to be yelling at the dogs?
Listen.
Are you supposed to be yelling at those dogs? They're in there so we can do this video, huh? And this typically is how we actually make tofu scramble.
Okay, so after I get all of that kind of mixed together, the aminos and the onion and this all crumbled down, I just kind of make sure it's all spread out pretty evenly and just kind of let it go for, I don't know, 20 to 30 seconds. And then I come in and I kind of scrape it all off the bottom. It'll start sticking to the bottom, and that's the way that we like it. So we scrape it off, give it a nice turn so it can all cook evenly, and just keep repeating the process until pretty much all of that liquid is cooked out.
And allowing it to kind of stick to the bottom a little bit and scraping it free is, it's kind of like how you would brown it.
Because tofu takes on the flavor of whatever you cook it in. So tofu by itself doesn't really taste like anything. So it absorbs whatever you put into it. And if you don't put anything and you just keep all that fluid, it's going to be pretty bland and soggy.
Right. So, but this consistency, the way we do it, it ends up being kind of like scrambled eggs, nice and soft.
So it makes an excellent meat replacement, an excellent scrambled egg replacement, and many dishes.
But no colon cancer.
Exactly. And it's loaded with healthy protein.
Getting there. Time frame, we've been cooking it about 5 minutes now. Here I'd like to mention that if you had pressed this tofu, and they sell a variety of tofu presses that you can get and try to screw around with all that and get more moisture out, that way you don't have to cook it as long. That didn't work out for us because you have to like tighten those things down, wait 15 minutes, tighten them down again. That's just not practical for us with the kids.
We don't have the time.
No, we spend an extra 5 minutes just allowing it to cook out on the stove. Because to set something in a little device, wrap it in towels and set it over off to the side, you know, you'll find it 3 days later and be like, oh yeah, that was that night we were going to do tofu. That's just not practical for us anyway. So some people might be like, oh, they didn't press it very good. Well, that's why.
Now, while we're kind of looking at this here, I just want to show you our spatula here. It's supposed to be this nice blue color. But switching to a diet like this, you're probably going to start using a lot of this turmeric. And turmeric does stain. So that's the discoloration on this spatula. So just keep that in mind as you're cooking, that your spatula may become discolored. Okay, so here I'm going to go ahead and add our spices. So with the turmeric, it equals about a teaspoon per pack. I don't measure it out anymore because I've done it enough times, but I like to sprinkle it pretty decently heavy here. I go in with just a little bit of some ground paprika and sprinkle that on. And just a little bit of ground pepper. There we go. Now I'll take all that and mix it in real good. It is very beneficial if you want to use exact measurements to measure your turmeric ahead of time. So you're not trying to measure it real quick and make sure that your tofu is not sticking. Okay, so now at this point, most of that extra water or liquid has cooked out. It's had a few minutes for this to cook in, for the seasonings to cook in. So I'll go ahead and add my nutritional yeast. Now this is a step you can skip. However, I highly recommend not skipping it. It adds a nice cheesy, nutty flavor to it. But this is also loaded with vitamin B. So I do 2 tablespoons per pack of tofu. So for this, I'll do 6 tablespoons. And this is what the nutritional yeast flakes look like.
Gives it kind of a cheesy flavor.
And when I add this helps it brown up real quick, and it also just kind of gives it like a nice coating. So we make it like this as a base for a lot of our meals. So there's lots of variations you can do for breakfast, different veggies that you can add to it for dinner. You can add it to things, and we'll kind of dive into those different variations later. But just to get you started with a base food to get going with. So the nutritional yeast starts to help it get this kind of layer down here. And so this is where I really start scraping the bottom of the pan so that doesn't burn and it continues to cook it.
And our kids are okay, in case you're wondering. They're just fighting over toys. We're at that stage. So.
Now we are using a ceramic pan. We have also used like a Teflon nonstick pan, and that doesn't brown up as easily, so just keep that in mind to what kind of pan you're using as to what kind of results you're going to get with your tofu. Where's that cup? What did she do? Can you take a deep breath?
in my mouth.
Oh no. She got you?
In my mouth.
All right, we're going to see how much trouble she's in.
If I was private school all time, if I was private school. That's how I was private school.
Well, see how you're on top of her right there? You're not supposed to trap her down like that. See?
Mm-hmm.
Oh! Ho, ho. Yeah, she gotcha. But Ricky, I'm gonna say that wasn't all her fault, okay? I think that, do you think maybe that was a little bit your fault too? Because you trapped her?
No, I just private school.
I understand, but she started screaming like she didn't like it, right?
Why?
Way before she hit you, okay? So she shouldn't have hit you. Look at me. She shouldn't have hit you, but you shouldn't have been doing something that she was screaming about, okay?
You need to tell Ricky sorry.
And Ricky, you need to tell her sorry too.
Sorry, Mom.
All right. Good job.
But I do need to get the whole goddamn circles.
Hang on. All right, now this is the point that we typically like our tofu at. It's not burnt or anything like that. It's almost kind of like a fried consistency. You can see how it almost has like an egg-like texture. If you want it more done, you just cook it a little bit longer. If this is too done for you, just pull it off a little bit sooner.
If you're batch cooking though, leave a little extra moisture in there because when you reheat it, it helps to keep it overall moist. And people hate that word, moist. I just feel weird saying it.
It's so dirty. Okay, that's it. There's our tofu.
All right.
Go ahead and take it off the heat. Let it cool and it's ready to eat as is, or go ahead and make your other meals.
All right, it's done. See that consistency there? Tastes great. You can eat it by itself or like batch cook it like we do, and we add this stuff to everything.